Randy was an amazing evangelist. He touched many lives just directly with the gospel. But you know, one thing that he did as well was that he poured into the lives of people who were trying to pour into the lives of others. He poured into the lives of the younger people at Crew, at Mason, in other areas. He poured into my life. He helped other people engaged in ministry strengthen their ministries and strengthen their walk with God. He really did create a legacy.
He's very easy for people that didn't know Christ to talk to. He wasn't offended by questions, and very compassionate. And so that's what made him a great tool in the hand of God. You look at a guy like Randy and you're like, I hope I can be, just a small portion of that as I age to become like him.
A lot of people knew Randy as a speaker or a teacher or a professor, which he was all those things, an author, podcaster. But we got a very unique look into his life, a unique experience with him. Very shortly after we got to Mason, my husband Greg started going through some really severe health issues, and we were just thrust into what became like a 12-year journey of suffering that looked like Randy showing up at the hospital over and over again. Whether it was crying with Greg or joking with Greg or whatever, he would just drop everything and be there in the hospital with him or in the waiting room with me. Randy really challenged us not to just learn more about God, but to feel and to let the things that we were learning, how does that affect our heart and what do we do with all these really hard emotions? In 2020, Greg's health suddenly took a dive. It was in the midst of the pandemic, and on the day that my husband died, Randy picked up the phone and came over within minutes and just walked us through some really painful hours. He gave Greg what Greg needed, just that reassurance that faith and doubt can exist at the same time. And it was just the same thing that Randy had been doing all those years, coming close in the midst of suffering, pointing us to the gospel. After Greg died, Randy was there again, to do Greg's burial and memorial service, but even more than that, to play with my son and to talk about his dad and to have me over at their house over and over again to just cry and process. I think seeing somebody who loved the Lord and had the hope of eternity leaning into the grief too was really freeing for me. Because we live in a world that says grief and faith can't exist either, but Randy showed me, no, they do coexist.
Our time may be limited on this earth, but we're all looking to an eternity. And Randy knew that. I can't even imagine the number of people he's with right now, or who will eventually be with him in heaven, who are going to say, wow, thank you, you're the reason I'm here.